Welcome to Earth Mysteries. Today we're journeying to Japan, to the city of Asuka, to a site called the Rock of Masuda, or Masuda-no-Iwafune. Nobody knows why this rock is here, who built it, what is its purpose, but we're going to explore. Are you ready? Let's go. So, Asuka is in Nara Prefecture, and Nara was the ancient capital, or the ancient center of Japan. So it's not surprising that we find so many sacred sites here. But we're going to explore one in particular today. I've drawn you a map because I like maps, and because maps are very useful when even on the tourist map something doesn't appear. And this is very true of the Rock of Masuda. There are, as I say, many sacred tombs and other interesting artifacts in Asuka. And Asuka became into prominence probably in the early centuries of AD, but it also was known very much for the Buddhist temples in this area. But this doesn't look anything like a Buddhist temple. So, after wandering around the city of Asuka and trying to follow a map, which I hadn't got, we started to ask people on the street in this very residential area, do you know where this hill is? Some of them could help us, some of them didn't know, but eventually one kind soul directed us to the base of this hill and this tiny sign saying, go here to the rock. And we started to walk up past what looks like a kindergarten. And then we came to the entrance to the path, and I rather like this white rabbit because it reminds me of the white rabbit in the Matrix, because it certainly felt as if we were entering a matrix, entering an interdimensional space as we started to walk up the steps. Looking back, I saw these beautiful trees that were in full bloom in the autumn. Just the amazing colors seemed to really be appropriate to the energy of this place. And so we started climbing up what were originally wooden steps and became stone steps. And fortunately, there was a place where you could pick up a stick to help you up those steps. And eventually the steps ended and we were just on a path. But there was something amazing about this path, because as we climbed, everything became still and yet energetic. Do you know that feeling? Where it's almost as if everything's vibrant. It felt like we were being watched by elementals, by nature beings. And we first got this sight of this amazing rock that was in a clearing of bamboo trees. And if you know anything about bamboo trees, they are very long and thin in terms of their trunk with very few branches on them. And then the branches are towards the top, and as the wind catches the branches, catches the trunks, there is this beautiful sound that comes out of the bamboo trunks as well as the leaves. And it felt as if there was this music vibrating, attracting us to this place. And then we stepped into this clearing, and here was this amazing rock. And you can see, compared with myself, this is huge. And there are markings on this rock. And the rock is very unusual to be in such a place up a hill that nobody seems to know much about. And when we look at these markings with greater depth, we see that they are carved. They have been etched into that stone there. It's not just where the rain has fallen. And yes, you could say that some of the rain has worn away the upper carvings, maybe, but maybe they were only on the lower level. And it reminded me almost of a typewriter, a board where I can actually, a keyboard where I can type. So it reminded me of something where maybe this had some code in it, or maybe this was somewhere where you could actually tap on those different structures and create some music or some message. Now, there were fissures in the rock itself, and this made people believe that this had been a potential burial tomb, and not sure how this was going to happen. But to me, when I looked at the fissures, they weren't deep enough to say, okay, let's just give up, this is a wasted piece of rock. So what was the purpose of this? Was it for astronomical observation? Was it, as some people said, an abandoned burial stone? I can't quite think how you were going to bury anybody in this. And what was the meaning of its markings? And as you'll see, also these square inlets in the top. This is a beautiful place to be, and the energy was profound. So just for a moment, get that feel of being with me, looking down on this stone, what this felt like to be there and to be amongst those bamboo trees that are gently creating their own music. And here I am. Now you can see the indentations on the top, carefully carved out with great precision. So however old this is, someone had the tools to actually carve this out. And it did remind me of some of the marks that we've seen in other places in the world. Tiwanaku in Bolivia, Gobiateki. It's very defined carvings with some purpose. And I just wanted to give you a sizing of this beautiful rock. It's 8 meters by 4.5 meters by 11 meters long. And it's said to be about 800 tons of granite, not easily maneuvered up to this place. It is not believed that it particularly came from here. There's very little granite around this area. It's nearby, but not specifically in this bamboo forest. Once again, we get a different view of those indentations. They don't go all the way through. They are almost as deep as they are wide. Why were they there? What was his purpose? And my own sense that this, built from granite, had some means of, yes, gathering energy, which granite can do because it has a lot of silica in it. So just like our phones, silica has this crystal ability to store energy, to store information. And it made me feel that this was possibly some sort of otherworldly communication device. I felt that it was there, it was still communicating, that the markings on its front had a purpose, as I said, like a keyboard. Maybe those spaces had a sense of resonance or vibration. My true sense that the very presence of those bamboo trees had a purpose as well. There was a sense of keeping that vibration going. It's as if a ripple was going out into the world. And my strong sense that the communication was not only throughout our world, but also to different star systems. This was just my appreciation, and I would like to go with you maybe into a deep dive where we can really explore perhaps what you intuitively may find out about being in this place with me. So let's think outside the box when it comes to this very large stone being in the middle of a bamboo forest. And let's not limit ourselves to saying it has to be one thing or other. Because the truth is, we don't know. Let us keep that idea of mystery, curiosity alive. Let us never forget that our ancestors left these objects there for us so that one day we would return, remember, and use the wisdom and knowledge that they contain. Look forward to meeting you either on a deep dive or on another video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.